Hello and welcome back. So in this episode I want to move away from the default cube and we're going to get into some different primitives. So first I'm going to hit X and delete this cube. And now what you can do if you want to create other shapes is just simply hit Shift A. And now you can see these mesh options. We have plane, cube, circle, UV sphere, etc. I think I'll just start with a circle. Now you'll notice if I go into if I jump into edit mode and then go into face selection, you can see there's definitely no faces. And now if I jump into textured mode or rendered, you actually can't see the circle there. So keep that in mind when you're creating shapes like that. The circle will not show up on its own because it has no faces. There's nothing for the light to reflect off of. So if I jump back into edit mode, select everything with A, and now I can extrude this upward like so. And now if I went into rendered mode, we'd see this. So next we have the UV sphere. And when you create these, there's also an option down here. So you can play with the settings of these primitives. So if we wanted it to be smoother, we could increase the number of rings and segments. Be careful though, my computer already slowed down a lot just from adding this many. So try to keep your polygon count within reason. Oh, and you can see that created 18,000 vertices and 18,000 faces. So don't go too crazy with the segments and rings. Deleting that, we have icospheres, cylinders. Cylinders are pretty useful. Again, you can play with the number of vertices around the outside, the radius of the circle. Whoops. You can play with the cap fill type. So that means the top of the cylinder, maybe you want it to show nothing at the top, or an end gone. As soon as you start modifying this, that menu disappears, and so you won't be able to play with those options anymore. So that's worth keeping in mind. And we also have a torus. I almost never use the torus for anything, but it's nice to know that it's there. Another thing to keep in mind when you're using this is right now I am in object mode. So I'm going to hit Shift A and create a cube, Shift A and create a second cube, or whatever. Second cube. There we go. And now, since I created them in object mode, they are separate objects. Now, if I take one of these and jump into edit mode by hitting tab, now I'm going to hit Shift A and create a second cube. And now if I jump back into object mode, since I created it inside edit mode, all the geometry that I just added to the scene is still part of this first object that I was editing. So that's extremely useful if you're trying to work off of one model, and maybe you just want to add a piece to it, and then kind of like attach it to the original geometry. Make sure you do that in edit mode if you want it to all stay as one solid object. So my challenge for the next video is to create a cylinder. Oh, and another thing to know is right now it just created that geometry up here, which is not what I wanted. I actually wanted it to be kind of like down here in the center of the map. But you'll see if I start left clicking around the scene, we have this 3D cursor, and when you hit Shift A to create geometry, it's always going to place the geometry at this 3D cursor, which in my opinion is pretty annoying. I'd rather it start at the center. But to move this cursor to the center, you're going to hit Shift S and then cursor to center. And now if you do Shift A, create a cylinder, it's at the world origin. So my challenge for the next video is to start with a cylinder and make a chess piece similar to this. So go ahead and pause the video now and make that, and in the next video I'll show you how I would approach it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.